Why does belly fat feel so difficult to lose once you're nearing 40 or older? In this video, let's explore why that happens. If you're a woman, this video is for women, and how to change that so that we can feel better about ourselves. I also want to add that belly fat is a sign of poor metabolic health. So it is really important that we see it as a sign and that we do something different to change our habits. It's not so much about how we look, although of course that is important because we want to feel and look good, but it's more about how it's affecting our health and how we can improve our health to feel better as we're aging, and let's age gracefully. If you have hit your 40s or older, I'm nearing 40, and I noticed that I can't do the same things that I used to when I was younger. I can't eat in the same way without seeing and feeling differently, and I'm sure that's the same for you too. And it's normal, but we can do a lot to help ourselves. So stay with me, we're going to explore that today. So what's really going on for us in our 40s and older as women? Well, our hormones are changing, our estrogen levels are dropping as we get older, which you might have heard about as you go into perimenopause and menopause. We're also losing muscle mass and our bones are becoming less dense. So as always for women, there's just a lot going on for us. It feels very unfair, but I think thinking in this way that, oh, it's just going to happen and it's just going to get worse is not very empowering. And there are lots of things we can do to help ourselves. And I am very dedicated for my own health to put these things into action now as I'm nearing 39, because I don't want to feel poorly. I want to be able to keep running around after my son. I want to keep hiking and doing all the things I love, and I don't want aging to become a reason why I can't do that. And so I'm going to share what I'm going to do to support myself and what you can do too from the research that I've done. So another thing that happens as we get older is that life might get more stressful, and our hormone that is the stress hormone is cortisol. And so unfortunately for us, when we have higher cortisol levels, our body thinks that there's something really bad happening and that we need to store energy in the body. And in the past, for our ancestors, this was incredibly smart of our body because often stress meant that there was no source of food. And so we needed to keep fat reserves, energy reserves on our body. And as women, we store most of it in the middle of our body on our belly. And of course, we always have an abundance of food right now, but our body still has the same response to stress, to the stress hormone cortisol. So it's likely that if you're in your 40s or 50s, it might be a stressful time of life. You are likely to be really working on your career and very busy, which can be stressful. You might also have a family that can be very stressful, juggling the things. And so we have this, unfortunately, working against us, but there are a lot of things we can do to support ourselves. When we have this belly fat on our body, it might be that you feel like the best thing to do is to start dieting. And I just want to say that a restrictive diet isn't going to get you that result because it might put your body under more stress. And if we're not balancing our meals correctly, then it's going to cause more of the same. Our body's going to think it needs to store more energy on the body because we're restricting. So let's talk about how we can actually eat and exercise to support our cycle and support ourselves through these changes, rather than doing anything drastic that's just going to create more of a problem. If you still have a regular cycle and you haven't fully gone through menopause yet, if you're in your 30s, nearing 40 in your 40s, then understanding how we can eat and exercise to support the stages of our cycle is super helpful. So in the beginning, week 1, we have the menstrual cycle. This is when we bleed. Now, during this time, don't force yourself to do intense exercise. Resting, swimming if you feel like it, gentle yoga, stretching, gentle Pilates, but really just taking it easy during this time, especially the first few days. And then when you start to naturally feel like you have more energy, then you can support yourself. During this time, eating warm foods, drinking warm drinks, avoiding caffeine, avoid fried food, and avoid sugar. I know you think that you have this sugar craving and you want to eat chocolate. And if you do eat chocolate, eating dark chocolate that's at 70 or 80% cacao, so there's less sugar, less dairy in it, can be very supportive because cacao is very dense in iron. And at this time, it's good to have very iron dense foods. like leafy greens. If you eat meat, this can be like your red meat, your lentils are great if you're vegetarian like me, spinach, kale. So eating soups or stews with these food that are very warm and nourishing. And if you have that craving for chocolate, eating dark chocolate. And then also eating citrus fruits, because the vitamin C in the citrus fruits helps our blood absorb the iron in the other foods. So this is how you can eat to support your cycle and exercise to support your cycle during menstruation. The next phase is the follicular phase. And during this time, you should naturally feel more energy coming. And so you can start to increase the amount that you exercise. So I advise clients that this is a time for good strength training, resistance training, Pilates, either mat or reformer, and you could start running again if you like running, or doing slightly more intense workouts because you're building up energy here. But carbohydrates, because you're doing more exercise, so you need more energy, so like potatoes, sweet potatoes, grains, beans are great in carbohydrate as well as protein, and also always pairing lots of fiber and some protein. So tofu, chicken, fish, tempeh, eggs, all of these types of things are really good. So this is the time where you can really go for it. So if you have some fitness goals, this is great. And also to help our bone density, doing jumping or high intensity impact workouts are quite good during this time because that helps our bone density. And doing some weightlifting can be good during this follicular phase and into the ovulation phase, which is the next phase. During ovulation, this is our peak energy. It only lasts for about 4 days, unfortunately, which sucks for us, but this is great for your most challenging workouts. So if you really want to go for it with like lifting weights or anything like that, or high intensity stuff, then this is the time to do that. And of course, eating lots of foods that give you energy and lots of nutrients to support you during this stage. Ovulation stage is also a good time that if you do feel like you want to enjoy those sweet treats and stuff, then this is a good time because you're doing more exercise and you're in a better state to burn through this sugar in a healthier way. So if you do feel like eating more sweet treats, then this ovulation phase is probably the best time for it. But always thinking about how to balance your blood sugar. So instead of just eating something sweet, pair it after you've had a balanced meal of proteins and fiber and carbohydrates, and not just eating the sweet treat on its own, because this is going to spike your blood sugar too much, and then you're going to have a low and you're more likely to crave more of it later. So still allowing yourself to have everything during the stage of your cycle, but just thinking about when the smartest time is to give yourself this food and not. And then we get into the rubbish phase, which I do not like. And as I'm getting older, I notice that it's just becoming worse. So I really want to support myself through this time. And this is the luteal phase. It lasts about 10 days and we have a dip slowly in energy until we kind of get to that menstruation. Changes our mood, our progesterone, our estrogen, everything's dropping, and so our mood is also dropping. This is where you'll find yourself getting easily irritated and low mood, maybe brain fog, not feeling like doing much. So calming workouts again, like Pilates, but not too intense, walking, swimming, anything that's going to help you feel good, yoga, stretching, just really looking after your body, and eating a lot of magnesium and iron rich foods again. So your leafy greens, your dark chocolate, more complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes are really supportive, more lentils. And also thinking about as we go into menstruation, our immune system starts to weaken a bit as well. So this is not a good time for us to be eating lots of sugar or fried food or having late nights. In our luteal phase, think rest. It's great to rest and support our body in that way. And if you start thinking about this, if you start eating and exercising in line with your cycle, then you're gonna notice that you can also support yourself in reducing belly fat because you're helping stabilize your hormones as well. Okay, so that's a lot of information there. But like I said, dieting in the restrictive sense doesn't work. Being knowledgeable on how to support yourself through your cycle as we're going through into our 40s and hitting this milestone of perimenopause and menopause is super helpful. And I am only just starting to delve into how to support ourselves, but I know that this is what works for me, and I know that the months I have far worse symptoms are the months that I haven't followed my own advice and I have eaten the wrong things at the wrong stages of my cycle, and I've had late nights, and I haven't prioritized my sleep in luteal phase, and I've been exercising too hard in luteal phase. And when we support ourselves in this way, honestly, you will see the difference in your body. And so it's not just about thinking, oh, let's crunch and do all these abs and restrict all these carbohydrates and restrict all this stuff. It's about supporting and balancing our bodies so we can reduce the belly fat that's being stored because we're feeling out of balance, because our hormones are changing during this time. And really supporting ourselves in this way will reduce the amount of stress we feel as well, because we are supporting ourselves and caring for ourselves, and so we will feel less stress. So anything you can do to also reduce your stress is helpful, and obviously your diet and your exercise are wonderful ways to do that, and sleep is the other thing. So really prioritizing your sleep. If you have bad sleep habits, if you are scrolling on your phone right before bed, you already know not to do that. Put your phone on flight mode at least 30 minutes, or if not half an hour before you go to bed, and keep it on sleep mode until half an hour after you've woken up, and give yourself that first half an hour to do something mindful, breath work, meditation, journaling, or just enjoying your nice cup of tea or hot water. Another thing is starting our day with caffeine on an empty stomach also spikes cortisol. So choosing something else to drink and then drinking your coffee or whatever it is you drink with caffeine after you've had your breakfast, it can be very supportive in reducing stress on our body. Like I said, this is for women, it's all about women, so I think if you're a man you won't have got to this stage of this, but maybe you have, and maybe you can use this to help support your partner or your sister or your mother or whoever it is. I work with predominantly women, but I do have some male clients right now too, in having healthier habits. A lot of the women I work with are at this age of in their 40s or 50s and wanting to support themselves through the changes that our body naturally goes through. So we don't have to have belly fat, we don't have to feel lethargic and have all of these symptoms. There are obviously medical things that you can do as well, and I am not a medical doctor. I am a health coach and a Pilates instructor, so I help people change their lifestyle and their habits, but always seek medical advice before taking any medication, and that's not what I'm here for. Okay, if you would like to book a free 20-minute call with me to start to change your habits and to put these things into motion, because of course we can know the things, but actually changing our behavior is a whole other thing, then feel free to book a free 20-minute call with me and we can have a chat.